A big hand. Rotarian of the day, Chris Norris. Murray comes 2 times in 7 years, and he's got a comment. Yeah, you're right. Really, our guest doesn't need an introduction, but because of my ego, I am going to do, I've been doing programs for at least 17 years, and I've never had the opportunity to introduce someone that is the number 3 ranked team in the nation with an OSU sport. So Kenny Gajewski. That's it. You're up. How about you? No, I'm not Saban. No. You're up. Yeah, no, seriously. I normally wait. I've never had a chance. Does this one work? All right. Let's keep it.
All right. Well, first off, just thank you for having me. My dad was a Rotary member for a lot of years. I called him on the way over here and said, hey, I'm going to speak at Rotary again. So I know it made his day. And I appreciate what all of you guys do in this community here that I call home. And it's important. And it's important to make sure that Jamie Murray comes more often. And it's important for all of you to continue to do what you do. It's a big deal, and it's what makes this place great. And so thank you. We're on the cusp of another journey that started a couple weeks back. Well, it started in the fall, but it really got heated up here when our kids returned back from their break. We're coming off 3 really good years. We're really coming off 8 really good years, and we've just continued to kind of build and grow. We've had a couple times where we may thought we were a little bit better than what we were and what we proved to be, and that's just the way sports works. It's not fair. It's what you earn, and it's what you go and get each day. So coming off of last year, one of the best finishes that we've had here. I know that Sandy had a year that they finished in the 2 or 3 for sure. And she was so dang close so many times, and have a tremendous amount of respect for her and what she's done here. And it's why we've tried to embrace her and get her back here more often. Last year, we finished 3rd. We lose to Texas in a heartbreaking game I think we had beat Texas, I don't know, 14 of the last 16, something like that. Pretty good run. And we were up 5-1 in the 3rd inning with Kelly Maxwell in the circle. And I think if you ask anybody that follows our team, follows our program, that game was over. And the reality is it didn't end like that. We had a lot of you may recall one play that we had that was kind of a play that sticks in my mind. We had a base hit that Texas had to right field, and it was cut off at first base. And we tried to back pick the girl at second base and overthrew, and it went all the way to the wall, and they scored all 3 of those runs. And it was a moment that we couldn't come back from. We just couldn't, and it just broke our back. And it broke our back. Not that play. What broke our back was last year internally, we weren't as good as we have been in the previous 7 years. We were kind of crumbling inside. To be very honest, you guys know me, I'm very honest, just tell you how it is. We're in this, the 3rd or 4th year of the extra year with COVID. And I was a huge proponent at the time that COVID was going on, that we should give these kids that extra year, because, our society now is all about fair and giving participation trophies. And it's really not what you guys were founded on here. You guys were founded on just, this is what we earn. This is what we've got. But I was a huge proponent of that. And now if I had the chance to vote again 3 years later, I would say I would never vote. That's the same way, because I think we're giving these kids too much time here. And I think what's happening is some of our older kids were starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel that I don't want them to see until it's over. Right. And they were already seeing that, because in their original plan, it didn't have 5 years. It had 4. And so, you know, we halfway through our year, I felt this kind of fracture. And it was the first time I had felt that in our program. Everything's been going really good. And we're still continuing to play well. Okay. But I used the term emotional equity. And we had spent the previous 7 years building that bank account up. And we used it all up getting to OKC. And when that play happened, we had nothing to go back to. So halfway through our year, I made a decision that I was going to need some change, and I was going to need to kind of do some things. We're kind of getting a little bit stale. And if in our business, stale is not good. Stale means you're probably getting fired. So I decided, hey, we needed some leadership training. So we needed some more of that. We needed that. So I started talking to a company called The Program. They're a military-based group that comes in and they run your kids through impossible to win exercises to see what they look like in a time of distress. And then you have a better idea of what you really need to coach. I don't need to coach a lot of softball. I need to be able to coach people to believe that they're still as good as what they thought they were before they got here. Okay, so that was number one thing. And then we started talking about some mental training that we had never done. And I thought, you know, we need this. I think I've had some buddies that have been trying to convince me that our girls could really benefit on this. So I engaged a guy named Brian Kane, and I said, hey, I'm thinking about next year. We got about 4 months before that season or that new year will start. So let's start kind of getting a plan going now. Just keep in mind, I got to stay focused on this team, but I need to also, as the CEO, quote unquote, I need to start thinking about what's next for the next team. Okay. So Brian says, well, what about this year's team? And I said, well, yeah, I mean, it'd be great, but I mean, like, we're kind of late. I mean, we're halfway through. We're in the top 10 in the country. I don't know if I want to kind of mess with what they have. And he goes, well, why are you calling me then? And I said, okay, I'm listening. So we started talking and came up with some plans, started implementing those. I think our girls really bought in. But the person who probably bought in most was me. And the person that was probably most responsible for needing more leadership, okay, just to try to evolve and grow, to be a better coach, leader, whatever it is, was me. Okay. The person who probably needed some mental training was me, probably as just as much as our kids. Because believe me, when you're standing over there in third base and there's 14,000 fans that are looking down on you, there's some pressure there. I mean, it's fun. I mean, I go around going, damn, it's kind of cool. But there's pressure there. And there's pressure only for one thing. And the pressure is for us to deliver for all of you, for our kids to be able to deliver for whatever it is that they've earned that whole year. Okay. So I thought, okay, so fast forward, we're in the Big 12 tournament. We beat Texas to get to the final game. And my on the bus ride back from there to the Skirvin Hotel, my phone's going crazy, and I saw Brian Kane's name. So I opened his text, because there's no way to get back to everyone on these things. It's just too many texts, and we've still got work that we got to do. Now we got the right to play OU, who's just demolishing everyone. Okay, so and we're going to be on national TV again. So you better get prepared fast. So his text said, if you want to win tomorrow, read this book tonight. And first of all, I don't read. Chris Norris reads. I should have called Chris and said, hey, can you come narrate this book? Because he can read. He can. Jamie reads. I know. I just know these two, and they read a lot of books. And so I was like, there is no way. I don't read fast. I probably have to read things twice to really understand. We're getting ready to play again tomorrow night. Luckily, my family was not there. You know, I just had them just stay back and go back and forth just so I could stay focused and everything I had to do. So one of the perks of being a head coach is you normally I get the best hotel room in the whole place. So we're at the Skirvin, nice place. Okay. So I have this hotel room with a bathroom that's about the size of this room, and a shower that's about a third of this room. And so I just sat down, I was decompressing, talked to my mom and dad just real quick, and sent some text to all of our kids that I needed to reach out to clarify some things that went good and bad, you know, just to make sure that they knew what we wanted. And that message was clear. And something told me to open that link. And I was like, I wonder how long this book is. So I just was intrigued enough. So I clicked this link, and it was like 160 pages long, doable, but it was going to eliminate my film time or anything else that I really needed to talk to our staff about. So there was another link, and it was the audio. And I was like, dang, I can do this. So I clicked that, and it said like an hour 30. And I started the shower. I put my phone up top. I took about a half an hour shower. You don't need to picture that. But I did. I listened to it for about a half an hour in there, just hot water. And I just was like, I'm going to listen to this whole book. And so about then I texted that link to my whole team, staff, but everyone said, hey, not telling you to, but if you want something to go to bed with here tonight, put this on and go to bed. And the story that caught me, it was a bunch of stories, and that was really what the book was called. If you want to win tomorrow, read this book tonight. So it was a bunch of stories about high level athletes and coaches in the biggest moments of their lives, and how they got through what they needed to get through. Well, one of the stories is in there was about this college kid with a rich uncle. And the rich uncle said to him as he graduated high school, and he was at the graduation party at his parents' house, he goes, Joe, he goes, in 4 years, we're going to be back here doing the same thing again. We're going to be celebrating you graduating college. And most likely, you're probably just going to waste 4 years. You're going to be having fun. You're going to be going through this whole thing going, I'm not thinking about what's coming next. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing here. But he goes, I want to challenge you. If you'll get all A's through college, I will buy you any car that you want, any car. And he goes, so you'll buy me your red Jaguar? He goes, yep, I'll buy you that red Jag, just like it, brand new. He goes, all I've got to do is get all A's. He goes, yep, that's all you got to do. Joe got all A's. They're back at the party like his uncle told him, except his uncle's not there. Okay. And the party's ending. They're taking pictures. They walk outside, and he's disappointed. His demeanor's going down fast. His uncle's not there. The car's not there. Feels like he's been had. All of a sudden, his mom clicks the garage door opener, and the door goes up, and there's that red Jag. And there was his uncle. Big hug. Had a great time. He gets in that Jag, drives to his buddy's house. Okay. And they said, hey, man, let's go for a ride. So they get it, and they go for a ride. And Joe says, hey, let's see how fast we can get this car to go. So I'm listening, and my mind went where all your minds is going. This is not ending good. Okay. And I was like, I don't know that I want to listen to this. I thought this was motivational. So I listened, and they got that thing up to about 85. Couldn't get it to go any faster. His buddy jumps in, Same thing. They take it to the shop the next day. Mechanic puts it up on the lift and he brings it back down. And he says, whose car is this? And Joe says, it's mine. He goes, you know, in life, if you drive around with the emergency brake on, you'll never get anywhere. And at that moment, it hit me. I think I'm coaching with the emergency brake on. And this is all I had to hear. Is just put the emergency brake off and let's just roll it like we've rolled the whole time. Except what's changed for us is our games are starting to mean more. We're getting farther along. We're playing. We're wanted to be like we're a wanted team on TV. So we're a good draw. Our style is good. Our girls are amazing. So everything started to mean more, which it hasn't. We're still playing softball, the same game that they played since 8. Okay, so that's the story that caught me. So at breakfast the next day, I had our girls pull it up on their phones because that's how they communicate nowadays, phones, if you didn't already know. And I had them read paragraph by paragraph just that story about Joe. And we just read it out loud. We went around the whole room. Everybody in that room, managers, trainer, whoever, read a paragraph. And I didn't say anything. I just thought this was a cool story and you can take it however that you want to. Well, we're on the bus ride to go play OU in the finals. And my phone beeps again, like it's going to do. People's calling there, texting saying, hey, go get him today, blah, blah, blah. Brian Kane, his text popped up. And it said, the best team won't win today. The team who plays the best will win today. And I was like, I got my pregame talk. That's all I needed. And so we took BP. We have a little bit of this visual meditation or that we do. And so when that was over with, I said, hey, just go be your best. Go be the best version of you. I'm going to leave you with one thing. The best team won't win here today. The team who plays the best today will win. Just walked out. And we went on an incredible game, beat OU. You know, we were the only team in the country, in my mind, that could have beat OU in the finals, to be very honest. And I think everybody across the country knows that. I think OU knows that. They wanted no part of us in that final game, even though I don't think they were like scared. I'm not trying to say that, but that was not a good matchup for them. It certainly was a no-win situation, which is a bad place to be. But we fell short, but we got what we earned. And it took me a while to come to grips with that. And so we had some attrition on our team. We had a coaching staff change. We had a lot of things that came about, and we have no emotional equity left. So this year has been about the program. It's been about the head coach being extremely clear on the direction of what or where we're going to go and what I would like done. Okay. It's always a collaborative effort inside our room, but it's a message from one person. Otherwise it gets confusing. So that was the biggest thing that the program, the military-based group, came in and did for us is they just told me, like, you have to be clearer and more precise on what the mission is, what the daily tasks are. A great quote I got this year, and it wasn't from them, but it's without clear direction, there are no favorable winds. And I think it's a really good message to think about, because it is very true. If we're not being clear, if I'm not being clear on what I need out of them or what I think it's going to take for them to achieve what they've told me that they want to achieve, that I'm not doing my job. My job is not softball. My job is people, and it will never be softball. I just happen to be the softball coach, and we choose kids to come here that are very, very good at softball. They're very, very good in school. So it's our job to develop them. It's our job to get them ready to get out of here and go be great and go, do whatever it is that they want to do. We don't limit our kids here in school and what they can do. I tell them all, I hope you're all doctors and attorneys, engineers, because that just means you're going to have the greatest 4 years of your entire life here. And then you're going to reinvest back into our current student athletes. Go be whatever it is that you want to be. But we're going to make sure that we're a part of your foundational pieces. That's going to teach you how to be gracious, to give with your time, with your funds, whatever it is, to always be in a giving mode. And I think when we can do that in our program, we've got some great things that are going to happen. So we have 14 new kids on this team. We're really dang good. And I can tell you that right now. This is the best, most talented team that we've had here. I said that last year about last year's team. We have some problems because we have some real position battles that are going on. They're good problems. I'd rather have those than not. We have some, I think the one thing that makes us better than we've been is we have some young kids that are really fighting to play. They are really fighting to play. Talon Edwards and Katie Lott in left field, Michaela Work at first base, Kyra Acock in the circle. These are all freshmen that are going to make an impact this year. I love playing young kids. I always have. And the reason I tell you that is because they really don't know what's at stake yet. They really don't understand all the 40 cameras in OKC that are pointed right on you. They thought that's what they were supposed to do since day one. You get a little older and you get a little smarter, a little wiser. You're like, damn, what are all these cameras here for? And that's a real thing. And it starts to change your mentality. So, I am super excited about this group, this coaching staff we've assembled. Chris Norris, who all of you guys know well, we were able to add his daughter this last year as our director of player development. It's a new position. And when when our team wins, it puts me in a good position to negotiate with Chad. And I've always felt like, money's one thing, but having people around you to help you win is the most important thing, period. People, you got to have people, and good people that are thinking for me, people that are not afraid to make decisions when I'm not right there. Right or wrong, I want people around me who are willing to make a decision. And then we'll live with that. If I don't like it, then I'll tell them, hey, next time, let's try this. But you had the guts to make that call. I appreciate you. So Katie's doing a great job. In her role, what I presented this to Chad, unlike I think most schools did. Most schools did it as trying to get another coach that kind of coaches, but really you can't. So it's kind of a shady deal. What I wanted was a position that helped our girls outside of softball, help them be more out in the community, help them thinking ahead of what's next, because it's coming fast. And I can look those seniors in the eye each day, and we can have our talk. And I remind them periodically, hey, you're going to snap your fingers and you're going to be Kylie. You freshmen, you're going to go like this, and 4 years is gone. So just remember to be present where your feet are. Remember, this is this year's journey. We're not worried about last year. We're not thinking about next year. We got to be right where our feet are here and thinking about this season. We've done a great job all fall. We have come back healthy. We have come back maybe the best I've ever had a team come back after a break. And the way I measure that is the way we practice, the way we do our defensive stuff, our team stuff is really crucial in softball. You have to be spot on. So far, we have been spot on. And I don't think I've ever been around a team. I was able to be part of a national two national championships at the University of Florida, where the weather is way better. There's no excuses about weather and cold and all that kind of stuff. And I've never been around a group who's come back like this. They are mission focused. It's their mission. It's not mine. And I can't wait to go on the journey with those guys and our staff. And it makes it exciting for our year. So kind of give you a little bit of how we got to where we're at now. I'd love to answer any questions about anything that you guys would like to talk through. And that can be anything.
Maybe for time's sake, something else, maybe 2 or 3 questions.
Yeah. I've got as much time as you guys want.
Or 10. We'll stick around. Who's kidding yourselves? Who has a question?
Yes, sir.
Why did they change the color of the softball?
It's a good one. They did it back before I got into softball. And at that time, the game was being played with a white ball and at 40 feet from the pitcher's mound. They went to a yellow ball and moved the pitcher's plate back 3 feet to 43 feet. And the reason was genius. That's why it's the most popular game on ESPN now. Because of that, because of the offense. It changed the offense. Softball was awful. It was 18 inning games. Michelle Smith striking out 30 people a game. And the score was 1-0. And nobody cared. Nobody wanted to watch that.
Soccer.
You know, it kind of like soccer. I agree. But I am actually a soccer fan. So I grew up playing that. So I get it, but I know I get the perception. It's kind of how I feel about baseball now. Like baseball, in my opinion, should go to 7-inning games in college. They'd be way easier to watch. You wouldn't need as many pitchers. You could do some other things. I think it'd be a way more exciting game.
Of your new players, how many are freshmen? How many are transfers?
Let's see. We have 7 freshmen and we have 5 transfers. And we actually have 8. We have a kid who graduated early out of high school to come be here, and that's Talon, who's probably the most talented freshman on our team. So she has a great story. She's a kid that was the best player in the state. Neither OU or OSU was recruiting her, to be very honest. Got some weird family stuff that we just were like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Too close to home makes it hard. I got a phone call from her travel coach and he just said, "Hey, I don't understand why you guys aren't recruiting her." And I said, "I don't even know her. She's never come to camp. I know who she is." But I said, "I don't think OU's recruiting her too." He goes, "Yeah, I know. I don't understand." And I said, "Well, tell her if she's interested in OSU that she might ought to reach out. Like that would help me." You know what I mean? Like you need to recruit us too. Like this isn't just us recruiting you. If it's just us recruiting you, it's going to end bad. Okay. It's got to be a mutual attraction here. It's in any good relationship, there's 2 people working together. So anyways, Talon, her dad passed over COVID. And it was a really, really hard deal. I just, once she committed to us, I kind of approached her and her mom and said, "Hey, would you ever consider this?" And they said, "Nope, not even close. We're not going to give up our senior year and blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "I get it. It's fine. I just wanted to ask." So I left it alone. About 2 weeks later, they called back and said, "Hey, we would love to, we'd love to talk." And so they had a plan. The plan was, well, she'll play her senior year in high school, which is in the fall for Oklahoma. And then she can transfer to you at the semester, which would be like right now. And I just told her mom, I said, that won't work. And she goes, "Well, I don't understand. I don't want her to miss that last year." I said, "I know there's some sacrifice here, without a doubt. And if it's not worth it, I'm not going to hold it against you." But the fall is the most crucial time for our development as a team. And for her to miss that would create some jealousy, would create some friction. And if any of you have ever coached a female sport, I don't need any friction. I don't need any jealousy. Okay. It's already rough enough. Okay. So I just felt like that was the sacrifice. And I already knew what the sacrifice was, because she doesn't need high school to play. She didn't need that anymore. There was nothing that high school could have done for her except to help her continue to become a better leader for kids that aren't as good as her. That was it. And so I was shocked, but they said, hey, we're going to make this happen. And they did. And I think they're very glad that happened. I felt like we could be, John and I, my pitching coach, John and I, that we could be some really good male influence in her life that she was desperately needing, for sure, that had been taken away. And so, it's just crazy, the way that things work, but she's one of those kids. So we've got a lot of new kids. We've got 2 Alabama transfers that will both start. One will play third base, Megan Bloodworth, and a pitcher named Lexi Kilfoyle, that when you see her in uniform, you will say, whoa, that's what it ought to look like. And she's about 6'1", strong kid, and just the sweetest kid. Those 2 kids will play a huge role. Rachel Becker will play second base. She is an All-American from Purdue. It's a grad transfer, so she has 1 year. So it's just, we've got some amazing kids that have come in and that are going to play a huge part.
One last question.
Yeah. Hey, Kenny.
Hey, Cody.
Anytime a program goes from where it was to where it is now, I know that, that turnaround artist as a coach is very sought after. I'm just being presumptuous here, but I'm assuming it's your choice to stay here at Oklahoma State and in Stillwater. Why do you choose to stay and not coach somewhere else?
Man. No, I only hesitate for one reason, because you kind of struck a nerve in a good way. It's a very emotional nerve. Like, I've had the opportunity to go to Texas 3 years back. And that was a wild ride. It was about maybe it's 4 years now. It was about a 2-week process of, they had offered the job to 3 people that turned it down. I knew through a really good friend and a mentor of mine that was a baseball coach at TCU, Chris Del Conte, their AD. They were very tight, and Coach Mo had always told him about me. And so Chris Del Conte, well, he didn't call me first. I got this random call from a random phone, and it was an agency inquiring for him before he made a call. So anyways, I said no. He wanted to, it was like they were so desperate, and it turned me off right away. He goes, hey, we want you. I want to get you here today and fly you into Austin tomorrow. I want to have a press conference tomorrow. I said, CDC, I don't even know what you want. And this is Texas. And it kind of scared me. Okay. So 2 weeks later, they went back to the same 3 folks, got a little more serious. The money started to get real serious. And they turned it down again. And my best friend, Tim Walton, at the University of Florida, where I had just come from, called me and said, hey, he's getting ready to call you again. And I was like, oh, crap. And he goes, don't give him a number unless you're serious, because he's going to match it. And I said, oh, man. So it was wild. It was a wild ride. I ended up telling him I needed time. I communicated with Mike Holder the whole time. I mean, I love that man. He got me here. He gave me a shot. He taught me so much. And I know he's driven some people nuts at times, but that guy cares about one thing, and that's about Orange and about our Orange. And he said, hey, I'm not even going to talk to you about this. You're probably foolish to not take this job. So let me just take that pressure off of you. So I got off the phone, and I had a lot of other things that were going on personally that I wasn't willing to walk away from. So I knew I had that out, you know, to a certain extent. And so I called Del Connie back and said, hey, it was after a day. I said, hey, I'm not interested, and told him why, and blah, blah, blah. So we went through it. He made some offers, and I was like, oh my gosh. I called Coach Holder. I said, I'm not leaving. I'm staying here. This is where I ought to be. And it was amazing, the euphoric feeling that I had to be able to tell Texas no. It was awesome. And it really was. And so it helped me get some more things here for our kids. Okay. I got a little bump. It helped me get my staff more, helped me get more just going here. You know, that's one of the bad things about Coach Holder is that's the way he works. You almost have to have that type of stuff, you know, to make things go. And then last year, Texas A&M, I started to get some overtures there, but I knew that they were after a female coach first. But I got a call. My wife was in the truck when I got a call from a guy, and she was about to have a heart attack because she played at Texas A&M. And I think it's a cult there. It's a total cult. I wanted no part of it. We had just been going through, we had just got a new president here that is maybe our number one fan, to be very honest. And I just started thinking, and I just talked with Chad just back and forth. Dr. Strum called me and goes, do you want to be here or not? And I said, yeah. And she goes, okay. And I was like, I'd rather this go away. It's bad timing. It was right when we're making a run and when all this stuff kind of happened. So, her and Chad worked together, and it all worked out. And I don't want to leave here. There's not a lot of jobs that are better than this job, to be honest. I'm 52 now, 51 now. I don't even know what I am. 51 or 2.
Your wife might, but then
51 or
again,
2.
maybe not.
But I at 30, 35, I may have taken that Texas job, to be honest, because you don't know. You think that greener pastures are going to solve the world's problems. And what I've learned in my 51 or 2 years is that I've made those mistakes. And so I've got some experience in that now. And the money was, the money that was being thrown around was wild for softball. And I never got into this for money ever. That was never a thought. And so, Cody, I guess the answer to that is I get to walk around here and yeah, people know who we are and our team is, and that's neat and it feels good. But I think we have a unique set of circumstances here in Stillwater that make it really hard to leave here. It's people like all of you. It's opportunities that I get with my family, with my program that I get the chance to run right now that I just can't give up. And I hope they'll keep me here for a long time. Okay, I'd love to go out on my own terms, but I'm also very aware that most coaches get fired at some point. Okay, that's real. Okay, so that's what drives me. It's what pushes me. And that's the reminder each day that I got to give you guys, my team, our administration, whoever it is, I have to give them my very best each day. And that's what I need to demand out of my team and my staff. And the direction is clear. Jamie, can you tell us that quote you had, today about your book that you're going to write? And that's, I'm gonna tell my kids this today. I'm gonna say, hey, this is your choice. We have the pain of discipline, or we have the pain of regret, right? It's like, are you willing? Just look, you get one or the other. You don't fall in the center of this. So let's just jump all in like you guys are. Just remember why. It's just part of the process. And we've always said, if you'll just do the right thing every day, every time, winning will be a byproduct of that. And that's what we've done. So thank you. Thank you.